This is the 5. Is Elon Musk making cyborgs?
Elon Musk making a shocking announcement to the world.
That his biggest factory is in China. Who knew?
His company Neuralink has installed its very first brain chip in the head of a human patient. No word
Well, so we know Greg Gutfeld isn't the patient
yet on who the subject is or if the device is working. But if Musk is successful, the tech could be the dawn of a new era for humanity. A person could control a phone or a computer just by thinking. Paralyzed people could start
Well, then I guess you'll never be able to use this technology, Judge.
walking, and the blind could start seeing again. All right, Jesse, the idea of
Which, by the way, that goes against God's plan.
Neuralink helping people with disabilities is amazing. But at the same time, the scary part is, can they turn
The scary part is, what kind of disabilities are we talking about? Not being woke?
you on and off like a robot? Would you accept
I hope
that?
they can turn me on.
Hey, asshole, if someone's got Lou Gehrig's disease, or they're in a fucking wheelchair, or they're permanently paralyzed, or they're blind, that part of their body is already shut off, you dumb fuck.
Judge. Hit a switch and there I go. I want this for the blind and the handicapped and people with disabilities. Don't I ever. But it's going to be used by regular, healthy people.
Because they just can't stop themselves. It's like tattoos and granola. They're gonna do it. It's like cell phones. These assholes, everybody's got a cell phone. Can't you wait till you get home to get a fucking phone call?
To turn into cyborgs. And I'm getting a lot of Fauci vibes with this. This is a
Why? Why would... Wait a minute. You're getting... Elon Musk is giving you Fauci vibes.
mad scientist. Judge, I go into a plane, they make me turn my phone off during takeoff and landing.
That's a Wi-Fi thing to keep your phone from jacking from one tower to the next as you take off. It doesn't affect the communications of the plane. It overloads in certain areas. It used to. It doesn't so much anymore. It overloads the systems in that because everybody's phones would be on and they would be all like jacking the phones as they left. As it flew out over the next, these neighborhoods at the end of the runway would always get fucked up phone signal like all day long, and they couldn't get any service even though the tower's right fucking there because these planes going overhead were jacking the signal. That's what that's for.
But how did Elon Musk get permission to put a phone in someone's head?
They give it. And also they're paralyzed. And also, do you hate freedom? Jesse Waters? What are you afraid? Somebody's going to plug you in and it's going to make you like smart all of a sudden and you're like, fuck, I'm going to lose my job at Fox. If I start thinking, I'm screwed.
Way too much. We are going way too fast.
Who's we, motherfucker? People aren't queuing up outside the iPhone store to get a fucking iPhone. This is the first person ever. And they're experimenting on people who are blind or can't move.
This is not connecting to...
By the way, Jesse, if I may, or as I like to call you, Stretch Ben Shapiro. By the way, how are your pet caterpillars doing? Is it true that they survive completely on the dander at the crook of your nose right here? Real quick, I know you think it's going too fast. And by the way, the Neuralink isn't the only thing out there that they're using this kind of thing. Brain computer interfaces they're working on it all over the world. There's a lot of different ones. He's just rushing to the front of the line. But for the record, do you think somebody who's been paralyzed most of their life and is alive and aware, but cannot communicate to anyone, do you think they feel like it's being rushed? Do you think a person who's been in a physical catatonic state, but is totally aware and can speak in their head, they can hear their own internal dialogue or their monologue and they can tell, I mean, we sometimes have dialogue, you talk back and forth, isn't that right? Yes, it is. But they're aware. They hear what people are saying and they can't respond. Do you think those motherfuckers think we're rushing this? You fucking chimp.
The internet or technology. This is disconnecting from life on planet Earth.
And that's my fucking job.
I like life on planet Earth. Things have gone well for me here.
Really? I thought aren't you in New York? Isn't that place constantly on fire and surrounded by psychos?
I'm going to continue to live outside in the environment instead of sitting in my cubicle with some machine strapped to my face.
Yeah, that's not how this works at all.
Taking orders from Dr. X.
That's also not what this is at all. Like, I get this is a criticism of VR/AR glasses. If you want to talk about that, if you want to talk about like wearing a fucking Oculus or a Meta Quest or something like that all the time, that, you know, and like running around inside a virtual environment, fine. That would be it. But that ain't this, you dumbass. This is just you can send impulses through your head to it's basically it's like a colostomy bag for your brain. That's what this is. It doesn't put into your brain, it just takes out. Your thoughts. This should be work for you because all your thoughts are shit. You should understand this. That you can't have a thought and say, move my finger, it won't, because it won't move. But you can tell it to move the cursor in that thing. It's another organ for those of us that, you know, need one. And that, honest to God, colostomy doesn't do anything that complex. So, yeah, that's not the point. It's an analogy. It's secondary. You do not have the ability to do something physically, and therefore you have another option. You could have, one could possibly get, if they wanted to, I suppose, you could get a colostomy bag and live with it because you just hate the idea and sew your asshole shut, knock yourself out. I guess technically you could have, it seems weird, but you could do it. In a similar sense, somebody who could just type or who can look at stuff or who can use a swipe screen, there's no real reason why you'd want to run that stuff with just standing there with your arms crossed while it all flips around, right? But you can. Rise of the cyborgs. Musk reveals first human Neuralink brain chip implant.
All right, Dan.
Chip implant. I'm sorry, I'm stuck on this.
Dan. You know, when the Wright brothers discovered the airplane, and they
where was it? Orville, come here. What is it, Wilbur? Come here. What? Look what I found. Discovered. Technically speaking, they invented the airplane. They just discovered the sky, I guess. Discovered.
were called.
Are you sure you don't want her to have the implant, Jesse? I feel like you're regretting it right now. I feel like some people could use that chip.
All devilish interventionists or something.
I probably would have been that person.
Yeah, and the thinking was, if God wanted people to fly, he would have given them wings. I mean,
or a big balloon, I think, really, you know. That would be nicer. Lord gave us the hello. Sorry.
I mean, are we just not understanding this, or?
Yeah, I got to be honest, Judge. I'm surprised you don't say this about every story on the show.
It's like when they invented the bicycle.
Yeah, it's exactly like that. Excuse me, dipshit. They discovered the bicycle. Okay, it was right next to the airplane.
Except for the horses. And then the cars, they try to stop cars, and you can't stop progress. Progress like this is pretty incredible. A leap like this could spur gigantic advancement.
And that's weird because that scares Judge Janine, because she still has horse-drawn thoughts. For
all sorts of different technologies. And
and Jesse's brain is coal-fired.
I agree that it feels like things are moving super fast. You know, the AI.
No, it really doesn't. I got to say, I was looking at shit like this in movies in the 90s, and they're like, it's totally going to be here. Jesus Christ. Like, how many of us, watched The Matrix was fucking 2 decades ago? And you're like, wait a minute, if I could just have a thing that goes straight into my brain and I could learn stuff instantly.
AI pieces that we talked about 5 to 10 years from now are actually more like 2 years away now. So the advancements are important. I do think that there's more good than bad that could come of it. And
yeah, but then you know, here's the scary part. And let me tell you why Jesse's upset. Okay, I'll let you know. This is why Jesse's upset, because he thinks there's going to be a new way to laugh at him. That everybody will be walking around with their little clamp-on addendum while they're doing stuff, and they're all communicating, and he's not, and all of them are going to go boing boing, and that means they're laughing at how stupid he is. And he's like, how come every time I walk around, these little orange lights flash on everybody's thing? They're laughing at me. I know they're laughing at me.
For people, like I know that all of us have friends that would benefit from something like this.
Judge?
To either prolong their life or make their life better while they're here.
Yeah, but Jesse, you don't understand. It upsets Jesse, so fuck those people.
There's no question, Greg, that, if you have an illness, whether it's Alzheimer's or some of the other illnesses.
Alzheimer's? Who discovered that? Is it Orville or Wilbur?
This can help, but they're also talking about lithium batteries in them. Do these pacemaker? Do they realize that's outside the body? The wires go in, but the unit is outside.
It's exciting. They said they put it in a human brain, so I guess that eliminates the squad.
Fuck, he wrote that down. Hey, think of it this way, Greg. If you ever got one of those, you wouldn't have to look down at your shitty jokes that you wrote on paper. They would appear in a screen in front of your eyes. And also, you could say them without any of us hearing them, and we'd all be better off.
When you talk technology, it's like listening to a clam talk about stock tips.
Wait, is he saying that about Dana Perino? When you talk about technology, it's like listening to a clam talk about stock tips?
When you talk technology, it's like...
Oh, maybe Jesse.
Like listening to a clam talk about stock tips. Okay, this...
A clam. All right.
This is how a billion...
What would that sound like? What would it's just a lot of clicking, or... I'm trying to follow this comedic analogy to anywhere town where there could possibly be a fucking joke.
Should act in life. Yeah. Look at the 3 areas that affect the world: space, energy, and health. And he's directing all his efforts to create a better...
Transportation. I mean, it's really mostly transportation, and it's not health. It's not going to cure any of these things. It's just an addendum. It's a patch.
World in the most vital arenas. Now compare that to other billionaires, the Soros family, whose billions go to local laws that have systematically destroyed cities, primarily minority neighborhoods.
You're not going to bring up Bill Gates?
I think it's a really interesting...
With his, like the vaccines and all that kind of stuff and the technology, you're not going to...
Interesting and fun time to be alive when the...
Mm-hmm. Why would that be?
World's richest man is also the world's most helpful man. Speech, space, neurological function, energy. I mean, these are all...
So you don't like the cars, is what you're saying. So Tesla, fuck Tesla, right?
Facets that directly affect our...
Also, Bezos is doing all those things. I mean, like, Amazon has a health app as part of Amazon Prime now. You're not going to bring that up because that's going to help a lot more people. This is one person that's getting the Neuralink. Maybe they'll get there, but there's a bunch of other companies working on it. MIT's working on one. There's a Norwegian company that's been working on one. A lot of people talk about how what Elon Musk is doing is like cribbing off their work, that kind of shit. Meanwhile, like his robot, which is just bullshit. So, but Bezos' thing might actually help some
lives, and that's all. And he's got money to burn. I mean, he could
not as much. He just lost $55 million.
Be doing other things, He's not. He's doing this. I don't own any stock. I've never bought a stock in my life.
What? Wait, and you were just slamming fucking Jesse?
You're an idiot.
I know, but I have a great 401k.
Oh, that's great.
Imagine if you had some additional.
But I mean,
Yeah. You know why? Because the AFTRA union set up a 401k as part of the contract for news people and radio people back in the day that Fox is beholden to.
No, he's on the cusp of a robotic revolution too.
No.
This is going to be...
I still like the 80s much better.
Jessica, your thoughts?
What the fuck does that even mean?
I find it really exciting. I don't understand it, and I'm completely comfortable with that. I hope when it becomes a thing that I'll start to get it more and we can really grasp the extent of which this can create positive change and also pay attention.
Here, anybody want to, you want to know how this works? You want to know how the Neuralink works? Anybody gather around? Because I love your work, Jessica, and everybody else on the 5. Can I explain this to you? Okay. You know how you have a bunch of nerves in your brain stem and that go down into your arm, and that when you want to wiggle your fingers, you have that thought, and then electricity flows down through those, through your brain and into the muscle fibers and causes the contraction of those muscle fibers in whatever way that you want to. Like, let's just say, for whatever reason, you want to do the Prince hand jellyfish that he did in front of Apollonia right before he gave her a reach around. It's another story for another time, but that, right? Yeah, let's say you want to do that. But the nerves between here and there are dead, and you cannot, and your hand doesn't do anything. It just stays that way. Now, you can imagine it doing that, and you can want to send that. You can have the thought, and as a matter of fact, you're probably you're telling it move, and it fucking won't move. The electrical charge is going down through the neurons and into your spinal column, but by the time it gets to where the nerve is fucking severed, it doesn't go any further. Okay, so imagine, if you will, a little computer addendum to your thought process that goes onto certain parts of your brain, like an EEG, right? Where they attach it and they can check your brain waves, but the signal isn't strong enough when they do it outside your skull to make it useful. So they put it inside your head so that the filament that goes across your brain and into those, they can sense the brainwave activity that you can train to make that happen, right? Okay, but it's not your hand. It's a cursor on a screen. That's it. And here's why, in a lot of ways. Let's see. Brain. Here's why. Okay, this is the Wikipedia thing on it. Give me 1 second. Drag this up here because I'll show you. And you'll notice something about this when I show you. Okay. Here's the story. There you go. And then there are, let's see if I can find the actual consumer ones. Hold on. You jerk. Almost there. Talk amongst yourselves. Hold on. Let's see. See if I can do this. Yeah, here you go. Bring computer device you control machines to your mind. There you go. Let's see. I'm gonna try and find one of the ones, because the story of this is let's open this one up, and then let's just try this guy. Okay, so so like I said, there are a bunch of companies working on this shit. Here's Microsoft is developing a brain reading technology to assist people with locked-in syndrome. That's exactly what I was talking about. That's who's primarily using brain-computer interfaces. BCI is a system that measures central nervous system CNS activity and converts it into artificial output that replaces, restores, enhances, supplements, or improves the natural CNS output, and thereby changes the outgoing interactions between the CNS and its external or internal environment. Now, the first people that will be using this on will be people with locked-in syndrome or diseases that keep them from being able. Yes, Stephen Hawking's a great example. People who have to use a keyboard and a very laborious process to communicate with their loved ones and people because of the failure of their systems. sensors. After that, people with full function will be able to have prehensile tails and wearable like Doc Ock arms for working in factories and doing shit like that if you want. That's how it works. So Microsoft has been working on this for a long fucking time. Neuralink is the first one they're putting in there, but they've done a bunch of this shit. And there's actually, let's see if I can, yeah, this is the Neuralink one. The big deal about his is that it's an implant, whereas everybody else is working on wearables first, right? Now, there is, except all the cookies, the coding, the business, this is natural electronics. Oh, I don't want to access it, by the way. That's the implant. That's what they're talking about. Okay, brain, and this is the Wikipedia, I think, on brain computer interfaces. This is a system that's been around for a long time. Research on BCIs began in the 1970s with Jacques Vidal at the University of California, Los Angeles, under a grant from the National Science Foundation, followed by a contract from DARPA. Vidal's 1973 paper marks the first appearance of the expression brain-computer interface in scientific literature. Due to cortical plasticity, the brain signals from implanted prosthesis can, after adaptation, meaning you have to train it, you have to understand what it means, and it's got to react to it, can, let's see, be handled by the brain like a natural sensor or effector channels. This is when they were trying to do light sensors so that blind people could see. Right, ARPA-DARPA. Now let's see, I want to see if I can, hold on, let me move this over here, because I want to see if, I'll go to Amazon. Let's go, brain computer interface. Did I, hold on, oh, sorry. Headset, that's what I want. Device. Here, dummy. Let's go. Yeah, here you go. This is, yeah, there's a couple of things. Yeah, let's start here. This would be the MindWave Mobile Brainwave Starter Kit. It's $129. This is the brain sensing headband or whatever. You put this around there, and then you this is such a like Logan's Run looking piece of gear, but you put it on facing this way, and you have this little band in front of you, and it reads the sort of muscular impulses and the electrical impulses of your brain through your head. And it's a little foggy, but you can do stuff. You can turn on lights and turn shit off and do a lot of stuff quietly. There is this guy. This is one where you play a game and you're like concentrate on something, or you can look at a thing on your iPad and like make a ball go in a basket, and it's very calming, and the pacing of it and how you operate it is a major factor. And there's a bunch of shit and a bunch of shit and a bunch of shit and a bunch of, there you go. Oh, there's the Santa motorcycle helmet. Let's see, they wireless headset for computer. No, okay. Anyways, that you get the point. There are available ones on the internet, like that are basically a game. Yeah, biofeedback is another way of looking at it, that are available already. The NeuroSky Mindset Brain Computer. There you go. It's only 2.5 stars, whereas the MindWave gets 3. And it's a lot. It takes a lot of work to get these fucking things working. This is the they're just selling this shitty box of it. It looks more like something you'd see on eBay. Let's see if I can find a picture of it. Nope, not at all. There you go. Anyways, point being is that there are. Let's see. It is not, the weird part is it going inside your head, not what you, hold on, let's move this down here. There you go. Mind control for the masses, no implant needed. There's a bunch of startups have started working that, let's see, NextMind was one of the devices. So I don't know if they have pictures of the device, like BCIs. Great word, sir. Okay. I don't have time to read this all to you. I'm sorry. Let's see if they can go. They have the actual, like a link to this one, to like one of them, so I can see. Of course, this is mine remain fast. Color comes startup NextMind. That's what it was. Now, hold on. So, this would be, and there's a bunch of these kind of things. Yeah, here's Next, yeah, this is the one that has a thing on the back of your head, so it goes to sort of where your eyeballs go. Snap just bought them like a year ago. Yeah, where is it? Next month, Brains Anywhere is on sale at. Yeah, this is in 2020. I remember seeing this way back then. This is it, and you hide it. Like, it looks like you can wear it under your hat. Like, if you it's attached to a hat, so you can. It gets the signals from the back of your head. See these little things right here attached to your back of your head? They're not glued or stapled or sewn or any of that shit. They're just laying up against your head. And then it's got this main device here. And when you use it, you can control a mouse on a computer. Basically, you can control it without that. So that's here's what it looks like. Yeah, this is it attached to this. You could attach it to any hat like that. Now you just wear it like that. You put it on a beanie or something like that, or a hat, like a baseball hat. And there's also a head strap if you just want to use that. But that's what they're talking about. Like, meanwhile, it's not that hard. It's just not. It's going to be slower and kind of clunky compared to having it in your actual fucking head. And then the other thing is that a lot of these folks can't. They're paralyzed. They don't have any sensation. So the difference between this and Neuralink, in theory, will be able to give sensation to the brain. That's eventually. Some BCI will, whether it's Neuralink
obviously
or not.
To the scarier stuff that could happen. But I love stories about Elon Musk like this. I think this is what he was destined to do.
You mean borrow other people's technology, call it his own, and push it farther than it probably should go, like self-driving cars, and get a bunch of people harmed in the process, trying to be the biggest brain in the area because he's a dickhead.
And to change the world. And
you don't know anything about the other BCIs because nobody talks about them because it's not Elon Musk.
It doesn't, change whatever I think about what X has turned into, but I'm excited for this.
All right, choose Soros or Musk. You have to choose. Choose one now. 3,
Fast.
2,
What do you mean? To
1.
do what? To have a
Better
drone?
billionaire. 3,
Better
2,
billion. They're completely
1.
different.
Oh, come on, play along.
All right, coming up, Jimmy Fallon taking on liberals who
Jimmy Fallon.
hate to laugh in his brand new book on cancel culture. He's
Oh, Fela. I thought she was mispronouncing Jimmy Fallon.
joining us next.
Hey, Sean Hannity.
Really? You having an anti-woke comic on your show? That's weird. Anyway, so sorry about the nerd out at the end. I'm not really, but for those that didn't quite get it or whatever, I'm a big fan of brain-computer interfaces. I certainly would use the aftermarket removable versions, but I made jokes years ago about how I can't wait for my iPhone to become a iPhone. I'm tired of carrying it around, and we're already there anyways. And aren't we just lazy cyborgs carrying kind of like holding our cyborg parts at arm's length? And we kind of are, but it'll be a while before that shit is, we're past the update arc where we've kind of maxed out technological power as far as what's possible and how you want to, I guess, have it put in and removed. You're going to want to get to a point where you've maxed out the physics on the technology so that there won't be like, oh, that operation you had that was really invasive and opened up your skull. You need to have another one because that was beta, right? You want to make sure you're farthest down the road. And the only people who, by the way, who aren't in that situation are people who have trapped-in syndrome or are paralyzed. And to those people, I don't think any of this shit can move fast enough. Love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow.